Nope, it didn't turn on.
On the side?
On. Record. Nicole, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
I just called Mr. Kelly and he said he had an emergency, so he wouldn't be able to be here.
Okay. I would like to call this meeting to order. On the 11th of June, 2025, the Board of Directors of ECUD District of Ector County will hold a regular board meeting at 2:30 District Boardroom, 1039 North Moss, Odessa, Texas, 79763. The time is 2:32 PM. In attendance are Daryl Pondo, myself, Troy Walker, Jesus Sanchez, Debbie Hayes, and Johanna and John. And members of the public. I'd like to call this meeting to order. And do we have any public comment on any agenda items? No. Number 2, discuss and review and take action on the engagement of new district bookkeeper. No attachment.
So there was an email sent from Nicole on an entity out of Houston area, McLean and Associates, that the board received from her for your review. And at Director Pondo's request, I did invite Brad from Haney and Company to be here. He is, of course, in the audience here with us to kind of go over, to give this board kind of a little history of where the district was with Haney, where we are today with Haney. I think there has been lack of communication or understanding, and for that, I will take responsibility and apologize. I'm not sure that everyone new on the board understood the role that Johanna plays as a bookkeeper for the district. And so, again, at Mr. Pondo's request, we have asked Brad here to kind of go through that and answer any questions that you have. I just learned that their Midland Odessa has now combined with their Odessa facility and is in a brand new location. And of course, Brad is from the Woodlands, the Houston area. He doesn't even office here. Haney does, their corporate offices are out of Utah. They are nationwide. So Brad, with that introduction, I'll let you take the floor.
Sure, thank you. So, yeah, like Debbie was saying, so our corporate office is in Salt Lake, but we do have a very large Texas presence. I'm in our Woodlands, Texas office in North Houston, and then we do have an office here in Odessa. Now it's on East Ridge. It used to be on University Boulevard, and it used to be a Midland office, but they've kind of combined for the sake of staffing. So just for a little bit of history, the Midland Odessa offices were Joe Torres, his firm, that was merged into Haney's kind of succession planning. He's retired as of October of last year and hasn't really been involved with any kind of ECUD or even any audit business for 2 or 3 years now at this point. I was working with him on some other audits in that office, which is kind of how we got in touch. And then he just kind of made the determination that he didn't really want to run the audit practice anymore. So I kind of stepped in to help with those client bases. So that's kind of how I've become involved here with the Odessa team. So I'm out of the Houston area. All the ECUD work, Hannah, the audit manager, Jasmine, the accounting manager, and all the audit staff and everybody that works on it is in the Odessa office and local. So I'm kind of the odd man out and not from here, but I do come here once a month because I do so much work with this team that it just makes sense to meet with clients and meet with the team that way. So that's kind of my role in that. So my title is audit partner. So I oversee the audit engagements and then what we were doing before, the monthly compilation engagements, which is why I think there might have been some confusion for the bookkeeping services. So around when I started becoming involved, that's when Johanna was starting to take over the internal bookkeeping and Jasmine was helping kind of get her up to speed on that. Jasmine kind of acts as consultant for certain transactions, I guess, on maybe non-recurring basis or just general questions for monthly close. But for the most part, what we were doing was preparing what's called a compiled set of financials. So every month we would put together a financial statement with the Haney letterhead and some other just information, I guess, for board meetings like this. And what goes along with that is some additional compliance that we have to do internally, which then kind of informs how much time we spend and thus the fee on that. And so recently, so we were told we don't really need to be doing that anymore, which is fine. We don't want to be charging you for something you don't need. So I was talking to Jasmine the last month or so. We've spent, she said, maybe about an hour helping Joanna with questions. So we're not really doing that compilation work anymore that takes the time. So all of the accounting is being done in-house. We're just kind of there as consultants for various questions and specialty items, I guess. And if we were needed for something like helping to prepare audit schedules or something for the new auditor or whoever that may be, then we'd be available for that. But it's all kind of ad hoc at this point. We're not really doing any recurring services. We're not making, journal entries, QuickBooks or anything. We're just kind of providing information to Joanna for that to be done in-house.
And you're making sure that, we're not missing any deadlines, things like that too.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No, I appreciate you coming out because, I think like Debbie said, there's been some miscommunications as far as Joanna and everything. I guess my question is, at what point did we decide to go in-house? Keep bookkeeping in-house?
We did that about, what was it 3 years ago, Johanna? Because that's when Johanna started coming on and working it, and
She just really
Tommy,
kind of
back-
gradually worked into that.
kind of pushed her to get a little more education, and she's taken off from there.
As far as your services that y'all provide to us, if y'all took over the bookkeeping, is the pricing still the same, or is there something different that?
So just to clarify, when you say the bookkeeping, you're talking about the day-to-day accounting.
Day accounting.
I don't have an exact number for you because, like I said before, that wasn't quite what we were doing.
No.
We were helping a little bit, but most of the time was spent with kind of the report and the internal compliance that goes along with that.
And I'm not saying that we would change what we're doing. It's just, I want to know where.
Yeah. So as things stand, with Joanna doing most of the internal bookkeeping, or I should say all of it, and us just kind of doing ad hoc requests, the fee would probably be a couple $100 a month. It would just be whatever Jasmine's hourly rate is, multiplied by whatever time she spends. So she is a CPA and a manager, so her rate's higher. It's $300 per hour. We do have people in the office who have smaller bill rates if cost was a concern and that was something that we needed to do. They probably would have to do some catch up just to get familiar with the client. Jasmine has kind of some years of institutional knowledge that she can pass on, but there'd be a bit of a learning curve. But we do have people at cheaper rates for that that are capable. So, but for the most part, if it's just handling 1 or 2 questions every month, maybe some close things, then it's a couple of hours, so a couple $100 a month.
Okay.
I'd be happy to put together kind of a more formal kind of schedule if that's something that you guys are looking into.
I'd be happy to have it, and not that we're changing anything, we're looking at changing anything, it's just, my problem is we're it's a new board, 3 new members, we're fixing to take on probably another one, here pretty soon, and, like most things, when you get new people in, they've got questions and, hey, what's the option here? What's the option here? Is this the best option? So
Sure.
that's all we're trying to see is, what other options we have.
Yeah.
And if it's financially, if we want to take it on financially. So
Yeah.
we want to have options.
Yeah, and I'm happy to give you whatever information you need to help make that decision. Obviously, we want what's best for you guys too. So if that's, we'd be happy to continue the relationship if that's possible. But if there's better options for the current state or the place you're in now, then I totally understand.
No, and again, I appreciate you coming down because I know you didn't just come down from Midland or something. I didn't expect, I thought they would send somebody from the Midland office or something, not you coming down from Houston. So that tells me a lot about y'all's dedication to us.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I do come out here once a month, because I do like to meet with the clients. This is the first time I've got to meet with this board and Debbie, so it's probably long past due for me to be out here. But, yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
We do appreciate you.
Appreciate that.
Hey. Hey. Do you want to make a motion to take action on the new district bookkeeper or keep looking at me as the same? What are your thoughts?
So I may interject, I had kind of told Mr. Diaz of McLennan Associates, that was the proposal that I sent over, to maybe hold on attending the meeting virtually. I knew that the board still kind of wanted to talk and get a little bit more understanding of, Johanna's role and all the in-house, things that she does. And then I know that y'all were reaching out to Hayden Company to have a representative. I did have another bookkeeping firm that was interested. If y'all recall from the last meeting, they were the one that had quite a few questions that needed some answers to before they would send out like a proposal, just to kind of have a better understanding of the needs. I kind of told them as well that y'all were still kind of in discussions and kind of getting a little bit more information as to the in-house services that Johanna and Debbie were providing. So I mean, if the board's wanting to keep it truly in-house and y'all have a better understanding of Johanna's role with the bookkeeping, then maybe you don't need another bookkeeper. I think the two that I were reaching out to was for full services, which is what the board had initially asked me to go out and get. So I don't know if learning this additional information has kind of changed the route that the board may want to go.
Okay, thank you.
Here's my, my problem is, the reason I want to look at this is that, not saying that Johanna's not done a very good job, but, and, I mean, we've had certain people out there really supporting her, and these are people that I don't really trust. So I do have an issue with that, so I would like to look into it a little bit more, actually sit down and visit with her and learn more as to everything she can possibly do versus going out and spending some unnecessary money that we don't need right now to spend.
So I think what you'll find, and this is just my opinion, I've spent a lot of time with Johanna and I really appreciate what she does. I know the whole time that I've been on the board, we haven't missed a single payment or check-in or the things that are important that she does. I can tell you for the past at least 4 years that has been good. And for that, I will give her a vote of confidence on my behalf. So I'm gonna make a motion, we table this until, July. We can do some more investigation.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have a second? All in favor?
Right.
No. Man, I hate committees, but I think it'd be better if there's two of us actually
Involved?
involved.
Okay, then, you and I'll meet with them,
Okay.
okay? All right, on to the next agenda, discuss and review and take action.
Hold on. Now,
So,
make a motion.
I'll
you
make a
need-
motion.
So you need to amend.
I'll
your
make
motion.
another motion.
Amend your motion to
To
formulate a
include
committee for
Okay,
for you and Jesus.
me and Darryl.
Darryl,
Okay, I amend my motion to table this for more investigation, for Darryl and myself to make a committee and come speak to Johanna and find out exactly what's going on in the bookkeeping.
make a recommendation to the board in July.
And make a recommendation to the board in July.
I second.
Do we need a favor?
And it's,
Go ahead.
so I was just gonna clarify, when y'all meet and get more information, I think another piece is to determine if you still need paying a company or any bookkeeping firm for that matter, you know, for any outside assistance, or if it can truly be all done in-house.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Discuss and review and take action on training opportunities for employees, including approval of education and commitment to employees agreement for same. This was the agreement that had been brought up by the attorney, I believe on behalf of John Kelly. It does ask that that we're willing to help the guys and girls further their education, but it does require a commitment of an extended agreement of employment.
This was actually requested by the entire board at, I believe, the March meeting.
Okay,
And so then at the April, y'all clarified that, we would, the board requested to put a 12-month commitment. There was discussion, that, you know, some employees may get this additional training or certification and then go elsewhere, to another employer. So this was kind of a way to at least, you know, lock them in that they would stay employed with ECUD for 12 months after getting any type of training or certification that the district would pay for.
okay. I do have a opinion on this. I think morale at ECUD is at an all-time low. I believe that a lot of people are worried about tomorrow, and I believe that the newness of this board may have a huge part in that. And I believe we could call on just about any. Not everybody's dissatisfied, not saying that they're scared. Not everybody's scared, but there are enough that I've talked to that are very concerned. I think it's time as a board that we do something to prove our loyalty to our employees. I'm going to ask that we remove the 12-month guarantee for them to work here. And it's just simply for morale.
So one thing I would like to add. So, we know PSC can do the training now.
In-house.
They can do it here, so there's no travel. They require a minimum of at least 5 individuals. It does not have to be made up, all 5 of the district employees. It could be employees from the city. It could be employees from Greater Gardendale. It could be from any other water district. So it doesn't have to be just our 5 employees. So, that makes a difference. The other thing is that besides this training that PSC would provide, or the training that they would be taking if they went to Waco, which was originally presented in March, there are additional training and classes before you can even go get a C license. So it isn't a one-time shot deal. And so I think that has been the concern of the employees, is it's not just their investment for this one-time cost, it will be multiple costs over a period of 12 months or 24 months. And that contract goes on and on and on. And so those are their concerns. And if I'm speaking out of turn, you do have 3 employees that are here that you're welcome to ask questions of their concerns, and then they have questions. So from their standpoint, that's what they're looking at, is an overall substantial cost out of pocket until they finally get the license to finally be reimbursed.
Am I correct in my statement saying that morale's low and we need to do some different?
Really, at this point. I mean,
When
I've
is
been
those
here,
biggest-
I've been here going on 4 years. Or would I leave now? If it's only gonna get better, like before I said. Waiting on it.
Yeah, we're trying to make things better. Of course, things don't happen overnight. You and I have talked.
And I think that's one of the reasons that to show them faith, that we have faith in you guys, would it make you feel more comfortable if we removed the asking you to sign a commitment to working?
I mean, sure. With Dustin's experience with the city, he's been with the city
And you would,
7, 8 years.
you would still
You
go
know.
forward with your classes, and if we deliver what we say we're gonna deliver, you wouldn't mind being a class A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way
My
to C
thing
operator,
is, I have a C now,
okay?
and I called CCEQ because I wanted, the next time I came to this meeting, I wanted to know what I needed. I need 7 more classes to get a B, plus my application fee of $111, plus the testing fee of $160, plus the 7 classes I need. And at TCEQ, they charge you $400 to $700 per class, and that's also Amarillo, Fort Stockton, Corpus Christi.
Travel.
You're traveling, you got your expenses, your food expenses, your hotel expenses. And
To be honest, I just don't got that money to spend on
And
it.
I know originally y'all were saying we wanted to pay for it. I don't have that $600 times 7 classes plus my application fee plus my testing fee. And there's people that I know that have tried 3 or 4 times you get 4 passes or fails. And you have to renew at $160.
So if we agreed to pay upon what, a pass? If you passed your class, we paid immediately, would it help?
We still need the fees up front.
They need the fees up front.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to pay, and then we'll pay for the,
You pay per class and you take that. And then the next class you pay for.
so what
The
if
next
we,
class.
what if we paid for the first two classes, like, say you have 7 classes, correct? So class 1, and you take it and it doesn't go well, whatever, you have to retake it.
No, you never retake the classes. You never retake the
So
classes.
there's no test or nothing.
No, you take your class, all 7 classes. And then you have to have a training of 20 hours, which would be water meetings. I need to give a dead. So there's water meetings that Midland does, Odessa does, Fort Stockton. You attend those, you have to have another 20 hours. Those are free though. You go to them and say, hey, I'm coming to that meeting. That's 20 hours. Then at the end of all that, you put your application fee, your testing fee. You get 4 times the pass. Then you just have to renew to take a test again. You never have to go back to the classes.
Okay, so your testing fees, that's what, so the classes,
Or 400 to 600, but I guess PSC, I don't know how much they're gonna charge.
They're about 510, but that's not for you to worry about.
But that's per class, but
Yes.
you don't take a test per se, every single class
Okay,
you go.
so there's no chance of you failing that class.
No.
That's what I'm concerned
Yes.
about.
No,
If
you can sit in
somebody's
desk
a
and sleep. I mean, there's people
habitual
that doesn't-
sleeper during a class,
It doesn't
how
matter.
many times are we gonna pay for it? You know,
No, you
that's,
just go one
okay,
time.
all right, then I have no problem with that.
You go one time and then after all your classes, then you can either do it Midland at their office or OC does it online. Midland does it as a barcode test.
okay, here's the deal that we talked about last month was, we're probably not gonna send everybody at the same time.
Right.
We're gonna choose, you wanna say, hey, you know what, we can do 2.
And we also have a good working relationship with Gardendale. We can help get some of those guys, so we're not having to, but if we had 5, I would love 5 guys to go.
But the only one I will bring up on that, and your BP class is the one that you can go to class and you test right there.
Right there.
And that's for your backflow prevention. It's a 3-day class, and I believe the last time I checked, Dallas was the only place that did it.
Love it.
Is it Lubbock now? It's a 3-day course, and it's for your backflow prevention.
Okay.
40 hours.
Okay.
And that you test immediately after. I think that's the only one that I remember.
And the only thing that I didn't see that in here is, and maybe we've decided for it to be at another time is once they do, I mean, they just, increase their education on and got a license, so there has to be some kind of compensation to come with it.
So
As a pay increase or,
yeah, so I'll address that during budget after they pass their test.
okay,
So as they pass their test and then do a survey of what that cost is, for that employee in the industry, then I'll make recommendations to the board based on, and I was gonna pick on Dusty. Dusty now has a C and a B. So since he now has a B license, and if he got it between now and time for budget, then I would present to the board, I've raised his pay to this, because that's the industry standard, because he now has a C and a B license, here they are.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
I mean,
well,
if that's what the board wants.
I do want to make the amendment.
Yeah, cause
And I'm-
honestly,
Otherwise,
with the type of work we do out here, we need something now.
Yeah.
To do we get called for inspections all the time.
mhm.
And
And your
we
inspections are
shouldn't, we
different, of
shouldn't
course.
be doing that.
And inspections are
Inspections are
different, of
different.
course.
But it's
So-
also your D license. I don't know if y'all know how the license works. Your D license is only good for, I believe, 2 years, if I'm correct, and it cannot be renewed. So you have to go to your C. Have to go. But you have to, your DCBA, it's backwards in water and sewer.
Okay,
You go DCBA.
I saw, I apologize.
So you get started with your D, and then once you get your D, it's good for 2 years, it goes away. Doesn't matter, you can't renew it, you can't go back for nothing. It just goes away. Then your C you keep, and if you want to renew that, you have to do, I believe it's 30 hours and 4 classes, something like that. And then you can go take the, just the renewal, they do your background and all that, and then it gets renewed. But the D just, it goes away.
A and B you keep,
C, B, and A.
CPNA.
Yeah. I mean, you keep your D on your record, but your license expires in November.
I'm gonna make a motion, we approve the upfront payment of these classes, and we remove the request for them to sign an employment contract as a move of good faith.
I didn't know it was, they had to pay out of their own pocket. I thought it was us all the time.
Well, and that's the way it's
I
written.
thought it was like, when you proposed it, I thought it was like that all this time. I didn't know they were having.
Yeah, what they were gonna get was a reimbursement. I don't like that idea. I wanna go,
You know,
let's pay for
that's
it.
the way it should be.
Yeah,
That's why you didn't get no contracts now.
okay,
That's
So-
the way it should be. I didn't know they were getting out of their own, paying out of their own.
yeah.
The terms of
That's
agreement of
tough.
this contract states that the district agrees to reimburse employees for all costs and expenses related to any district-approved training for employee to attend the participation in. So they have to pay all of their cost up front and then present all the receipts, and then they get reimbursed.
That's not fair.
The board, the reason we had done that, or why I put that in the agreement, is I made the agreement as broad as possible to encompass any type of training or certification classes that these employees may want to take. At times, the employee and the district may not know how much the hotel lodging, the transportation, the mileage, and the food may be. So if the employee came and said, I want to take X classes for 3 days in Waco, the board could approve, that training up to a dollar amount. And then the employee would submit their receipts afterwards. The district isn't going to know how much something cost the employee while they were out of the training. That's why it was set up as a reimbursable item. But I think the main reason, or the whole reason for this agreement, was that the board didn't want to, put $3,000, $5,000 into an employee and then the employee leaves and goes elsewhere. If that is not a concern anymore of the board, then there's no need for this agreement, and y'all can just approve training as they come up and pay however the district deems feasible for y'all to pay for employees' training. But the reason that this agreement first came up was the board was concerned that they would invest, district revenue to an employee, and then that employee would then go elsewhere to another employer. And that was discussed at 2 meetings.
Yeah, I think now, I mean, that we've got a better understanding of how the training actually works. And like, they're going to get certified once they go through. And the fact that we'll only be, I mean, like I said, it's not gonna be sending 10 guys at one time. We're gonna send what we need at the time. I guess that would be left up to Debbie or, as to who's qualified and as we need it. will be asking employees. So, I mean, I'm fine with it. I mean, we all face, especially out here in West Texas, somebody's always out there offering something better. But so I think our job is to make them comfortable and they'll stick around.
Fort Stockton's once a year, Lubbock's twice a year. Fort Stockton's in August. So they, what's that time?
We're gonna rely on you guys. Okay, if there's a class coming up, you need to get with us. You need to make sure Debbie and whoever barks up the right tree to make sure that we've got the money to get you at those classes. We want you qualified. We want you to be here, but I'm not gonna hold your feet to the fire. So I'm gonna make a motion. We completely disregard the employee education and commitment agreement. We, do it just like we've discussed. We pay for it. We rely on them for good faith, just as they're relying on us. I ask that this be retroactive for all of Johanna's education and that she be reimbursed as quickly as possible. I make that motion.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
And you still want that go through PSC, or do you want us to look elsewhere?
I want you to go through PSC as much as possible, just for the simple fact, I don't want you to have to be at a hotel without your family. I know what that's like. I deal with it all the time. Our concern is the longer you're here and happy with your family and getting your education and being a better operator, our whole goal is to get rid of PSC one day. And you guys are our only hope. So if you're willing to put forth the effort, we want to invest in you. We want you to know that we appreciate and we do believe you. Okay? Sir? It's not fair.
I told some of us want to get away from it.
Okay, discuss and review and take action on removal of board director under water code section 49.052. This, is based on Mr. Timothy Pond not showing up. I believe the TCEQ rules are as says, a board of unanimous vote of its remaining members may remove a board member if he's missed more than one half of the regular meeting scheduled during the prior 12 months. Any board member so removed may file a written appeal with the commission within 30 days after receiving written notice of the board action. The commission may reinstate said director if the commission finds the removal is unwarranted under the circumstances, including the reasons for absences, the times, the place, and the meetings missed. The business conducted at the meetings missed, and any other facts and circumstances the commission may deem relevant. Okay, little history. I've been on the board with Timmy. How long has she been gone? Year and a half.
It was February 14th of 24.
So a little over a year and a half. And I've seen him at, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 4 or 5 meetings? 4. Okay. I know it hadn't been much. So, I believe at this point in time, we all want to move on and get somebody that wants to be here and wants to be involved and wants to make this a better place. So I make a motion that we remove Director Pond from the board of directors.
I say good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And the next one, we're trying to appoint somebody. Discuss, review, and take action on the appointment of the new director to fill the board vacancy under Water Code, section 49.105. And there again, we go back to TCEQ rules that say if we don't appoint one, the commissioners will. Except as otherwise provided in this code, a vacancy on the board and other offices shall be filled by the unexpired term of the appointment of the board no later than the 60th day after the date of vacancy occurs. If the board has not filled the vacancy by appointment before then, before the 61st day of the date of vacancy, a petition signed by more than 10% of the registered voters of the district requesting the board to fill a vacancy by appointment may be presented to the board. If the number of directors is reduced to fewer than a majority, or if the vacancy continues beyond the 90th day, the date of the vacancy occurs, the vacancy or vacancies may be filled by appointment by the commission. If the district is required, section 49.181 to obtain commission approval of its bonds, or by the county commissioners court if the district was created by county commissioners court, which we were, regardless of whether a petition has been presented to the board under subsection B. I believe the rest is pretty self-explanatory. Do we have anyone that has been willing to be appointed?
I was, I think.
Yeah, Director Walker, I mostly put this on the agenda, requested it so that y'all could at least start that discussion and see if there's any interested people that the directors know or anyone within the district knows. And that hopefully we could have a name or a few names to present to the board for next month.
Okay,
We also posted on the website.
okay. So we will be posting this on the website.
If that's what you choose to, that's what we've done in the
Yes,
past.
please.
We put it on the website, that there is a board position open, and then, they come through here, fill out application, and then we pass them on to y'all.
Okay.
With
I
resume.
think we need to do this as quickly as possible because I know the commissioners court really does want a little more control here than they need. So let's all work at this, try to find somebody interested before the August meeting. It's imperative to us. Okay,
Well, I'll keep this agenda item on and then I will have an item on, for the appointment of a director in case we have a good candidate for July meeting.
thank you. On to 5.
We have to make a motion.
Oh, we have to make a motion? So what is it? What would the motion be? Table it? Table it?
No, the motion should just be, there's just no action right now.
The motion is, there's no action on.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we take no action. I'm sorry, I've never done that before in my life. All
We
approved.
don't typically make a motion for no action. We would just say no action, the board should no action in agenda item 5.
Okay, the
But
board,
if Debbie wants the motion for the minute, that's fine.
okay,
Thank you.
okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Discuss and review and take action on the policy for new water connections within the district. This is 6. Well, I read over this to make sure I'm,
Do you want me to take the lead? Or do you want me
please.
to? You want me to?
Please.
Okay, so at last month's meeting, there was a handout that was given to the board that looked like this. Jesus and Daryl had put together because they were on the committee to prepare this and present to the board in the May meeting. So then action was taken and given to me to take and put together an actual letter to be sent to the customers for new connections, whether they chose option 1, which was immediate payment, or option 2, which was a financing availability for any new taps. And so this is the letter giving them option 1 or option 2. I did take, and I discussed with Daryl the other evening, that on the immediate payment, the board has expressed not to include the labor and any inflationary costs due to tariffs or anything of rising cost. So I took that dollar and reduced it down to $1,700 for a 3/4 tap. which would be a savings of over $1,000 to the customers, I think, which might be a little bit more appealing to the customer. So they can make that one-time immediate payment, or then there is a finance availability option for them as well. At the full cost of $27.50, we go into the letter explaining to the customers, these are mailed out, what the application process is, what the payment schedule would end up being, what measures would be taken if they defaulted on their payment schedule. And then I've also took the liberty of putting together an actual agreement between the district and the customer where they actually sign it. It defines what their payment amounts are going to be, what the payment method will be, the agreement terms, what the default would end up being. The customer signs it, and then it's also notarized because I believe the board wanted that in paper notarized as well. So that's what those two pieces of paper are. And so I've got it labeled. Y'all wanted to do it July, August, and September. So if the board approves this, then we will take action and go ahead and try to address these to individual customers. And if there's anything in the letter you want changed, if you want the labor added back in, if you want any cost adjustment factors due to tariffs and things that we don't really, I can't control, then we can do this based on what we know today and move forward for 3 months and see how many we can get signed up and if it's something the district ever wants to do again.
Debbie, I don't see the notary section. Am I missing?
It's,
I'm looking at the 2 pages under item 6.
It's on the back of the agreement.
it's not on the back of ours.
Yeah, it probably, it
It
didn't copy.
didn't copy.
It didn't copy on the back, but there's the notary on the back of it.
First off, I would like to say this. Kudos to the two of you, Daryl and Jesus, for coming up with this plan. And thank you, Debbie, for putting our feet to the fire and making sure that this gets done in a timely manner. I am over the top excited about this chance to get new customers. I think you guys have done a great job. I give you 100% vote of confidence here. So therefore, I'm gonna make a motion on item 6 that we, take action on the policy for the new water connections within the district, and let's get this running now.
I say,
All in favor?
Who seconded?
Daryl.
And to confirm, board, it will be for people who submit requests for the months of July, August, and September of this year.
Yes, ma'am.
and going forward.
And Debbie, if there's any way we could maybe keep the notary section onto the same pages where they're signing, or at least move their signature to match the notary.
Yes, yeah, we will.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'll fix that before it goes, before they sign it.
And Nicole, I'd like to revisit this at the end of July to see where we're at and to see if we want to extend it even further.
Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll kind of rework the item just for y'all to receive an update from Debbie regarding same and a possible extension of this offer.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you.
All right, number 8, discuss and review and take actions on the monthly commercial base rate.
No, we skipped 7.
Oh, I did. Sorry. Reverse. Discuss, review, and take action on the policy for new services to landlords and renters. I know that we're getting a lot of backlash from landlords that don't like being held liable. But I know before you guys were elected, we had a hard time losing tons of money to renters just taking off. And I know this policy does not sit well with some of our constituents, and I understand that. But like I've told a lot of them, I also own property, I also rent it out, and I also am responsible. So I do not have a problem with this. I think this is a good deal. We're making the renter, number one, responsible. And number two, on the back end that the renter doesn't even know about, the landowner is also responsible. But the renter is signing the paper that they're 100% responsible. So we're trying to help the landlords the best we can. But at the end of the day, we still have to be responsible. It's their land.
I mean, it's just like
It's economics.
owning any kind of business. I mean, you're gonna watch your business. If you don't, you let somebody walk in and walk out with something, you're not gonna stay in business very long.
Exactly.
I mean, all they are is a businessman, and all we're asking is take a little bit more responsibility.
Just
Watch your business. And I mean, it's simple.
any questions on these forms?
So I did include the forms and I did make notations, what has been added to the agreement. So there's a new water service agreement application. And so we did add the section about tampering and what the violation is. For the water service application, then there's a water service application that has the landlord's name on it because you requested that be added to it. And then we created a landlord application as well that the landlord has to fill out. And so it has the section that was approved by PUC in it, which the landlord will sign stating that they understand their responsibility. And we made sure we did not add that to the actual applicant's application so that they wouldn't default back to the landlord for their payment. Because those were the 3 requests that were made by the board. And so they have all been added and are ready to be printed and start using as soon as this board approves.
It's gonna be required to be notarized.
We don't notarize them now.
No, it don't have to be.
But when you take the application, you're also getting a copy of their driver's license.
Yes, and
There's a
everything.
lot more stuff that goes into that. That
Besides just-
proves that's them.
Oh,
So
yeah, we do.
I don't think that nobody's actually necessary there. I do want to applaud the board and Debbie.
Well, and-
This
and
work
staff
has
is here.
needed to be done for a while, and it's taken a committee, I know that. And your staff should be commended for everything that they're doing. And I am very, very impressed.
I'm only as good as the people I surround myself with.
And so are we. Make a motion on the policy for the new service to landlords and renters. I make a motion that we approve these drafts and get them in action as ASAP.
Second.
Second by Jesus, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Now I'm on to number 8. Discuss and take action on changes to the monthly commercial base rate. Now, that's this one right here. Okay.
So this was put on the agenda a couple of months ago, and there really wasn't any action taken. So we brought it back to the board because one of the comments that was made was to try to raise the base rate only to generate additional revenue off the commercial accounts. So John put together your handout that you have before you. It is showing you that the current commercial rate is $75. Okay? If we were to change that on your second sheet and raise it to $100, that would create an additional $11,075 a month or $132 per year. That did not get you to the threshold of the 150, which you stated that you would like to get to. So to get you as close to that as we can, John ran the numbers, and so your actual rate then would be 105 for the base rate. And that would give you a generated income difference of 13,290 and 159,480 per year.
And one thing I want to make completely clear to the internet and everybody else that's being derogatory on this, businesses come to the county for less taxes. We have lower costs, lower problems, lower everything out here. I have a business in the city as well as other people in this on this board and, you know, things are a little cheaper out there. So for us to go up $30, I don't think is a bad for any single business, you know?
It's gonna get passed on.
It's just, they're gonna pass it on to their customers. I think this is nothing but positive. I think this is the right direction. And, I give kudos to you, John. It's exactly what we needed to know. And I appreciate that.
Are we going with the 100 or we're going with the 105?
It's my recommendation that we go to the commercial base rate of 105 to get to the threshold of 150,000 that we're wanting to per year. I make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jesus. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries.
We will have a rate order ready, we'll prepare, and then I'll notify you to come in and sign it so we can get it posted. And then it has to be posted to AVR before
Yes,
we
ma'am.
make any, before they will make any change. I have to have that rate order signed. And then we get it posted to the internet as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Did we pass on the last meeting, the?
Yes, and it's already been signed. Yes, it's already been signed, it's already been posted, and already sent to AVR.
Has there been blowback from that yet? Not yet?
No.
Okay, good. The portable meter rates, because they went way up.
No, not yet.
We'll see where it goes. I figured that,
Okay.
We got a small leak.
gentlemen, are y'all happy with what went on?
Thank you guys. Yes, we are. Yeah.
Good. We really want to work hard for you guys.
Thank
Okay?
you. Yeah, thank you.
God bless y'all. Number 9. Receive an update from General Manager on Mojo lease agreement. Ms. Debbie Hayes.
So this is like looking for a needle in a haystack. After I finally reached out to Frosty and spoke with him, and his main issue is that there was an agreement that there's some easement land and he wants to be able to take that easement, that property into his possession. So I did finally find this right here. It is a agreement and a drawing of where the property is. Problem I have is this is not executed. I have been told that there is something at the courthouse, but now at least I have some dates because this was drafted in January of 22, that I can go down to the courthouse and try to find something that's been executed, because that's what we'll need to do in order to satisfy Frosty. Because that's what he's thinking. I told him I can't tell you whether it was done or not done, because I don't know. I don't know. And so that is as far as I've gotten on this. So I'm still working on it.
Okay, so we are in process of trying to get further information.
Yeah, I'll need to go down to the courthouse and find this, because this is all I can find. There is another folder. I can reach out to Bill Fowler, because he was the attorney involved at that time, to see if he can shed some light on it. I did talk to Daryl and told Daryl I was going to reach out to Mr. Urban because he has some history. I will probably, I'm going to have to go out there and literally, this is where the easement is. This is what we have. This is what was supposed to be. This what isn't. Because I wasn't here when that happened. And so there's not a board member that is as well.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so I have to go back to the knowledge to bring me up to date where I can go to the right people to get what I need to get all of our equipment off of that property. And my goal is to get it done by the end of this month, at least enough to where we're in motion. The guys are ready. They've got the equipment. They bought some parts that they have to put on the pumps and stuff to shut them down or shut them off. So all of that's been done. We're ready, but Mr. Gillum is like, we need to find out about my land before you start taking all stuff off my land.
Okay,
And so I don't,
so we're gonna do no action on this today?
yeah, I just wanted to give you an updated report so you know that I was
Fantastic.
doing something. I'm not just doing nothing.
You are doing a good job. Thank you. And we do appreciate the time and effort that you're putting into this. Where the board is not gonna take action on that, on the lease agreement at all today. Receive the general managers related to the district's water system revenue bonds, series 19, and take action on arbitrage. Wow, arbitrage payment due, what? Arbitrage,
Arbitrage payment, yeah.
I'm sorry, my daughter's an English teacher, she would kill me. Payment due related to the same. I believe this is on the CD, or no, this is the big money. Okay, let's hear from Debbie.
So in your package, you have the information from Hilltop that gives you the exact dollar amounts that we will need to pay the RS on your interest earnings of $746,205.83. And of course, the IRS wants their little piece of that money. And out of that, we need to send them a check for $252,232.70. And so we have already,
69 cents.
whatever it is, 69 cents, 70, whatever it is.
Just making sure.
Yeah. So, we have the check ready. Last month you gave me the, authority to sign a contract with Hilltop for $10,000 for them to run the numbers, prepare the 8038 T form to send to the IRS and to calculate exactly what that dollar amount and prepare all paperwork. I negotiated that contract from Hilltop from $10,000 down to $5,000.
Hey,
And so that saved the district some money, and that check is also in your checks to be signed today to go ahead and pay them. I would like for the board to go, I've already signed that check. I would like for one of the board members to sign that check so that we can get it sent certified mail now, and Perla is ready and everything is already addressed to do that. If you'll go ahead and pass this as a motion, and then one of the directors go ahead and sign that check.
kudos again, another $5,000 saved for the district. Another almost $1 million that the district has made money. I can't speak enough for management. I make a motion that we approve this, and I'll agree to sign this check ASAP. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Yeah, I wasn't gonna sign.
Ready to confirm the amount was 252, 232 and 70 cents that were mailing the
Yes, ma'am.
IRS.
Yes, ma'am.
So besides that, here's my copy. So you have that interest, plus you have $518,982.22 that came back because the project came in under budget. So between the two amounts of the interest in this, you have over $1 million.
That's good. Okay. You ready to move forward? Receive a presentation
Oh.
from Kinley Horn. Carol's here.
Which
The
one?
Hilltop.
Yeah, but it's got John's signature. You don't have. Yeah, yeah. So that's okay. We'll just send that one and then, yeah, we're gonna, I'll get him to come up here and we'll sign it. We'll send it tomorrow. Okay, I'm sorry. We were also
The
sending another.
Hilltop.
Hmm?
The Hilltop.
Timothy's.
Oh, okay.
Ma'am?
Debbie, do you want me to redo that one and get that to, you so Troy can sign it?
Yeah, if you'll send it right now and send it to me, I'll hold Perla up because the post office closes at 4:30. So if you'll send it under Troy's signature to me, then we'll print it off real quick. Just let me know you've done it and then we'll get Troy to sign it.
And I'll be glad to listen.
Okay, let me see if I can, do that real quick.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is Kinley Horn here?
Oh, we're gonna dial him.
Oh, okay. Double down?
Yes. I think
Yeah,
we're
you're
gonna
well
double
on my
dial.
head now.
We're gonna double
I
dial.
was moving all of the sticky notes first.
I mean, something that, let me, oh,
Um,
and Chandler has another meeting. at
let's
4.
take a 5-minute recess while this is going on. So I can make a call.
Yeah, yeah. Just that Chandler has another meeting at 4, so he.
This recess, this stuff out. Thank you again for
Thank you for
inviting me.
coming.
That's right. We must need it.
Yeah.
It's a good face.
Yeah, for
Voice
sure.
of the voice, you know what I mean?
Nice meeting you. Again, appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. If you guys need any information for me, you have my contact.
Yeah, and if they do, well then.
And this is Daryl.
If they're on the
The board member, ECUD.
And I'm here to Friday. For
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Guys, have a great afternoon.
Chandler?
Safe travel.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
We're taking a short recess right now.
Okay, we're taking just a little short break. Troy's got a daughter that's fixing to have a baby, so hang on just a minute, and I advise the board that you have another prior meeting at engagement at 4.
Yes, a few years back. Pardon? A few years back. There was a point something. The bill, old. Nice and short? Yeah. How old was that? It had a rough life. Get me on the road, man. You know what? Had a rough life. Yeah. Just on 495 acres on the road, right there, the only legal path. It's about land. Lots known as had red tape papers. Oh, yeah. I was putting kids on the bus and walking up.
Remember, like, she was like, you looked like real hairy, and then her back.
Different one. That horse, that was a rescue. Old horse.
Yeah, it looks real old.
Yeah, it was a lot of money to fix the hood. In the back.
Like, where that whole part was at, used to be the same fence right
Right here. Three of them at one time, that was, yeah, that one before, that was, I think that one. Takes him out in 27 or something, when I got her hoof, it's bad. It's bad. Even I got her back, which is a good rider. Okay, just another rescue horse, it's
Well,
like a dog, like a dog, it's a dog. Sorry.
Yes. Got it?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. I'm sorry, I did have to run a business too. But as soon as we get that paper, I'll sign it. Okay, are we ready with Kimley Horn?
Yes, Chandler's on the phone.
Chandler's there. Chandler, are you there?
Yes, sorry.
Nicole, you're there?
You might be typing.
Nicole? I think she's going. Yeah, okay. No, okay. All right, we are ready to receive a presentation from Kimley Horn on cost and requirements and recommendations related to the Third Street widening project with Ector County.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tanner Shields for Kinley Ward in the Lubbock office. I was approached by Mr. Kelly about the Third Street project, really specifically from the county's initiative to do a road widening project in that area. And so after speaking with the county, they have indicated that they will be constructing a roadway from Tripp Avenue all the way to Redondo. And during that widening process, they're willing to help Ector County Utility District by trenching the water lines, since they're already going to be doing earthwork in the area. However, in their agreement that they're proposing, they would want Ector County Utility District to be responsible for providing all water line materials, backfill, embedment, things of that nature, testing requirements for a water line to be extended in that area. And so
The water line limits are on Third Street are from Yolanda Avenue to Westcrest Avenue. And it's approximately, a little over 1,400 linear feet of pipe. And if the district were to go through with this, we would propose a 6-inch water line in that area. And all in costs, for that extension for the 1,400 feet, would be it'd be close to $200,000, from, the district on their end. But like I said before, the county is willing to help out with the trenching efforts, but they are not willing to help out with any of the water installation efforts.
Does this help apparently, it does create a loop, but,
How many customers would we see?
I think
out of that?
15 is I think what I said.
200,000, 15 customers. Possible customers. $200,000 for 15
Yes, that's
possible
correct.
customers.
15.
Yeah.
It's a health issue. We can watch it right. The area that's more, that's like, will
It
be
is.
eventually be developed.
It is because the elementary is gonna go over there, Matt, if I'm not mistaken. It's close.
There's potential for more development.
It is a potential, but my issue is this: the county's willing to do the cheapest thing they know. And this increase is important for, Ector County as much as it is for ECUD. I do not agree with us footing the 90% of the expense when we don't receive any tax money. When we don't have a huge gain to pay back the 200,000 at this point. I really believe that we need to go back to the commissioner's court and tell them, we'd love to help you, but we can't do it right now at this cost. Our payback would probably be about 15 years for 15 people to pay for that. That's my worry. I think the commissioners are just taking the easy way out and they don't want to pitch in. They get our tax money out here. They get our sales tax, property tax, everything. They need to start helping out. If we're gonna do this under good faith, right now, we're just maintaining what we have.
Will the school district be willing to pitch in?
They may be, but that's something that the county's gonna have to work out with them. I feel like Commissioner's Court's taking the easy way out and just saying, well, y'all's problem, here we go. And they're the ones with all the money, so I don't agree with this at all. I'm not gonna let Mike Gardner and Dustin Fawcett run over me, so that's my vote on this issue.
So Chandler, just to kind of clarify some of this, when you and Mr. Kelly were visiting, one of his issues was that the Waukeesee property that is on Trip are 1 acre tracts, and when those properties were sold, they do not have any water. The developer did not run water lines up into that development because they're 1 acre tracts, but the property right behind it, that he also developed are 1/2 acre tracts, and they do have water. So part of what the county was selling was this would fix the problem that the Waukeesee individuals, residents have because they can't get water. While they can get water off of Trip. They can get water off a Trip, and it can be run up into that development like Chandler sent in this drawing.
All the 16.
And so there's a cost for that as well. But that's where you're gonna gain more individuals tapping into water because of that development,
Because the Waukeesee,
because of that
not
problem.
the widening of the Third Street.
It's this,
Can you see that?
So
the one that
will
one
we
here.
fix that property problem or
This
not?
one?
It will not. It will not fix the Waukeesee at all.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
And so
I just
So
want
anyway,
to
it's
pour
just-
over all this. Yeah, we're not fixing anything and it doing the Third Street widening, which health wise may need to be done eventually. I don't think it's a profitable endeavor by this board to spend $200,000 on the possibility of having 15 new customers, even though it is a health issue at this point.
Well, Chandler, is it a health issue at this point?
No, it
No,
is
I
not.
didn't think so.
Okay.
No, it would just provide further redundancy of the system and looping that area, but, there's not any residual concerns in that area that would,
So
call for an extension right there.
I make a motion, we do not accept the county's, subset.
I just did. I just did.
I think you can make a motion to not participate at this time in this winding project.
I make a motion, we not participate this time in the widening project.
I second.
Second by Daryl, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And for just so I'm clear, to make sure I understood, Debbie, the 1 acre tracts that you were speaking of regarding that one subdivision or one area,
Well, Casey,
this would not help that?
no ma'am, it will not.
Okay.
It will not, no, because there's no pipe up into that subdivision.
The pipe
Okay.
for that subdivision would come off our 16 inch off of 16th Street.
What they didn't.
Okay, so this has no bearing on that area.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
This section fixes.
Yeah,
Well, now, if whoever this is, they can pay for their own benefit.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why are we paying that for
Give me
them?
back my drawings. I
Well,
sent you.
can we,
Color.
add to the project? Like,
Okay, you can
that-
keep them.
no, no,
I'll-
I'm doing that.
That is something that if,
Could we add that part to the project, so we can fix that
Can we do that now?
problem? Can we add,
can we add the walk AC, can we
add
want
to
to
the
look at that?
project? So we can
Okay,
fix
so,
that problem for once and for all, like,
okay,
once and for all.
so then, so you can do that. What was, that cost was even more substantial.
What is walk?
$830,000.
How much was it?
$630,000.
$830,000.
$838,000.
Almost $1 million.
But I
So-
know Cruz, Cruz,
Brothers, what?
the people that have bought the property right next to
Oh,
the
100.
100 acres,
Uh-huh.
they'll be developing all that on top of.
So then that'll help.
So that's what I have to force everybody else to.
Fall in line, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so there is a plan there, but we would not be involved in it.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah,
I think
So-
we will eventually, but
We may eventually be able to work with these folks and help shoulder some of the cost.
what needs to really, and this is my opinion, and for what it's worth, which is not even 2 cents, is that the county needs to change their subdivision rules and regulations to not allow anything
Sold without water.
without water.
I think they already have those in place, but
But we just have,
are people following those?
well, yes, they are, but the
But it's an
Edgar
acre.
County Commissioners
It's an acre, needs to be,
had a board meeting on this, and they were going to allow the landowner just to, well, you don't have to do it.
the state law says that if it's an acre or more, you do not have to provide utilities,
But it's an acre,
but it's an acre. The county has the ability to change the acreage amount.
and which we've done, but our commissioners are willing to override that for certain people.
Well, I know some people that are, that went over to Commissioner's Court and talked about enforce these rules.
And that's what we're trying to do is hold their feet to the fire. and make sure-
So what they're trying to do is not enforce it, but make you enforce it.
Make us pay for it. That's what they're trying to do. When the truth of the matter is, if you're making money off that land, no matter what the cost, you're gonna pass it on to your customer anyway. Make the investment. If you want to invest in West Odessa, you're gonna make the right investment and you're gonna get water to these people. And this is gonna stop. So we have to stand up to the board, to the commissioners court. We have to. And whether they like it or not, whether it, I'm up for next election. I'll be honest with you. I'm in the most jeopardy of anybody up here. And I like what I'm doing. And I'm willing to fight for ECUD and I'm willing to fight for the residents of Hector County. And to me, this is an issue that the commissioners are just trying to pass it off to somebody else, and I'm not gonna have it. I was elected as a fighter, and I'm gonna keep fighting, so
So this motion denied.
deny it. Well, no. 11. I had a pen in my pocket. Discuss the 42nd Street Box House Logistics Subcontractor ASN Earthworks and use of the district fire hydrant.
Do we
Okay.
still need the name on?
Oh, Kimley Horn.
Do we need?
No, thanks, Chandler.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
We do not. Okay, this 42nd Street, John had driven by, and this is right.
Before you go anywhere. This item is under investigation. I want to make a statement first, because it is under investigation with the sheriff's office. Anything you say You write? or anything you do can be subject to an open records request.
Can we table this?
Because that this is a litigation and legal matter, if the board wishes to discuss this, I would advise you to go into executive session, or as Nicole calls it, closed session. This
What?
is a legal matter, and it is under investigation as we speak.
Nicole, since this is an active investigation, can we just table this and let the sheriff's department and powers that do
Yep.
investigate it? I'll make a
Yes, we
motion.
can table it.
I'll
yeah,
make a
we can
motion, we
table it.
table this for now a second. We have a motion and a second. Motion's tabled.
Who made the motion?
I did.
Daryl second?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Um,
Sorry that I just.
no, you're fine.
Thank you.
You're doing your job.
Thank
Don't
you.
have to apologize for that.
Trying to protect you.
I know you are, and we appreciate that very much. None of us want to go to jail.
I just
None
want
of
you
us
to.
look good in orange.
No, I don't. I just don't want you to jeopardize my case. You jeopardize my case.
All right, general manager's report.
Okay. So I gave y'all a written report, and I'm not gonna read it to you. I'm just gonna kind
It's
of
in the email.
hit the highlights. It's also in your package.
Oh.
It's also in your package. And so I'll just kind of hit the highlights for you, but it is a 4-page report. There were five. Anyway, there were 1,132 calls incoming and outgoing through our phone system. 665 that were inbound incoming calls, 427 that were outgoing calls, and helping the constituents and customers with various questions that they have. Out of the delinquencies this month, there were 473 delinquent letters that were mailed out with a delinquency dollar amount of $100,197.30. Out of those delinquent accounts, there were 293 delinquent accounts that finally made payments because of the delinquent letters that were sent out and phone calls that were remaining. There were still 190 delinquent accounts that we had. And then at that time, we divided all up and we start calling every customer to remind them that they have a payment due and that their water will be shut off next week if they do not make a payment. So out of the 190, there were 72 customers who still failed to make payments even after we made the phone calls and they received letters that their water was turned off. Those were turned off all day yesterday. Some of them have been turned back on. because they did make payments. We have 58 manual reads that we did this month. Out of all of the office staff here, with the two girls and John, there were 216 work orders that were created by the office staff and sent to the field. Then on the 42nd project where they covered up our valves, where Desert Paving covered up our valves, and we had a railing that needed to be put around the CRMWD pipe, valve, I mean. That had to go before the commissioners court. The commissioners court had to approve a change order because there were additional valves now that were in play from the original bid that was awarded. The commissioners court approved all of it. The valves have been located. The rail has been put back up around CRMWD's valve. And so it has all been done to ECUD specifications. So this project is now completed.
Amen.
On the ARPA project, of course, y'all know where all they're still working. So the public water station that's going to be installed over on Knox should be in sometime within the next couple of weeks. And then they will start actual construction on it the first part of July. And we hope to have it finished by mid-September. So one of the agenda items that we'll put together and put on the for the board to address is what those water rates are going to look like for that water station. And then I've got to go through some logistics of cleanliness and blah, 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 that we'll put into action as well before we put it up in operation. So the utility locations are about 65% complete and 55% of the traffic control is in place. The curbing and sidewalks and stuff have already been replaced up on University and 1936. So staff, myself, we go out periodically numerous times during the week to look at all of it. Of course, I've had my monthly meeting with Madrid and Kimberly Horn that we go over everything once a month to make sure everything's on track, to make sure that everything that is required by ARPA and by GrantWorks, to make sure that the documents are true and checked up, to make sure payroll, vendor information, equality is done all the way through that American Rescue Plan work. I do that every month to make sure it's done before anyone is ever allowed to take a draw or payment. The other thing is the field staff themselves created 106 work orders through the 8-1 lines or their own. And so those 106 plus the 216 that were drawn up through the office staff would make a total of 312 work orders that the staff worked on during the month of June.
That's more than 10 a month. I mean, that's more than 10 per day.
In 1 month.
That's very good.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so that another reason why, another reason why you should invest in these employees. So, and I thank you for that one. I thank you. You did I cannot thank you enough for that decision that you made. Makes me very, very proud. So there were 3 emergencies after 5 o'clock, 811s that had to be done. Those were taken care of as well. Last month, I reported to you that we had 2 gateway transceivers that read our beacon meters that were not reading accurately, and we had taken them off the poles, sent them off to be fixed to Badger. We did get an estimate back, which is going to be better than replacing them at $13,000 each. They are both going to be repaired and for $5,500 from Badger, plus the freight. We already have one back. I'm waiting on the second one to come in. It's en route. It's already repaired and being sent back to us. As soon as I get both of those in, then we'll have to go rent a lift and then we'll get them back and then installed back into the system. And so then you'll have 12 instead of 10 that will be fully operational then.
So then you saved us $12,000.
Yes, sir.
Good job.
So then, thank you. So then there was another issue that was brought up several months ago about how the guys were kind of looking, I called it looking for Easter eggs, because when the district took over the M&O for the city, we learned that where there were over 800, which there's 815 actual meters that were installed, but yet no bill. There's no water running through this meter. So we went out and did an audit. So I had them go out and audit a third of that 815. We did not do 100% audit. As you can see, we work 300 work orders a month. So we did this over a period of about 3 months of auditing 30% of those. Out of the 30%, there were 229 meters that we actually laid eyes on. The meter's still there. There's no water going through it because there's no person living on that property. Cannot find any rhyme or reason why what was done, that the city did. I can't
City
tell.
just put out. random-
There were 11 that were no longer at the address. So the information that we came over in the conversion for the city was inaccurate. Okay, so I put it in writing so that you would have a reference to it forever in case you ever wanted to go back in when October comes, whatever happened to that. So right now, for me, it's a closed issue. We did our audit. I know where a third of them are. If we get where we have nothing to do, we'll try to find the rest of them if that's what we need to do, but they must be there.
Okay.
You know, a third of it, random.
Out of 229 meters, you only found 11 not there.
No,
So
out
that's-
of 815.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't have, well, no, you're right, out of 229 that we
That
all.
were investigated, yeah. Okay.
So I'm okay with that, those numbers. We lost, communication with the SCADA system, on one of the towers, and I had to call QuickNet, who is the contractor we use for all that. Part of your cable wire on your elevator storage tankers are on the outside. And so they came out and replaced parts of it. A section is all they did that was bad. So I asked them to give me an estimate because with the hot weather, the wind, the hail, the rain that we've been having, the last thing I want is to lose communication with those towers and the SCADA system and be down. And I can't read anything. I might as well put me in an automobile, let me drive blindfolded. So I got an estimate on what it would cost for QuickNet to go out there and do that. And for them to come out and climb all the way on the top of those towers, all the way up and replace all of the cable with a weatherproof cable that will last longer than what we currently have, will cost us $2,165. And so I approved for them to come out and put that project in operation at their convenience and gave them a PO.
But you put a wire in it.
Well, it wasn't what we would want. They didn't do it. It was,
They didn't do it. It was part of that $45 million.
yeah, so I must spend,
Years out of
it's lasted
3 years, 4
3
years.
years. I don't know what the timeline is, but it lasted 3 years. I'm gonna invest
$2,100.
$2,100. I'm gonna try to make it last at least another 5, 7 years. Nothing lasts forever.
Yeah.
You can't even go buy a washing machine or a refrigerator, but anyway, so that's what we're gonna do.
Good.
The district has 2 $300,000 CDs. One of them is gonna mature June 18th. The other one is gonna mature on July the 20th. Those 2 CDs are in Prosperity's bank account under 0827. Right now, those 2 CDs combined with the interest that we've earned is $634,675.24. I'm looking for direction. The way that the board has worked in the past is they give me the direction to go shop CD rates. Because right now it's really the safest thing to do. Figure out where the highest yield is for that. And try to move them to that entity. Last year when we did it, Prosperity still had the highest rate, so I left them with Prosperity. So I'm looking for some direction on whether the board wants to appoint 2 members to do that off the board, or if they just want to give me direction to do it since the 18th is next week.
I don't have time. I make a motion that we let Debbie handle that. She'll go out and shop that.
That's it.
It's like 5:30.
Okay, so
We
I
got
have a
first, second, and
first, a
third reading
second,
vote.
and a third. So I will do that, and get that handled for the board for those two CDs for June and July.
Thank you.
The other thing is that the city of Odessa always goes through and does a chemical temporary change method to how they chlorinate their water. And that's going on during the month of June. So you will see a little bit increase in your PSC laboratory test charge when we pay that bill. And we usually have to take our chlorine down because they're really dousing it.
Right.
So I wanted you to know about that. There is a TCEQ conference. It's a 2-day that's free with TCEQ. It has to do with a lot of the emergency preparedness plans, the water conservation plans, water quality issues, our lead and copper reporting that we have to do to TCEQ that John and I are heavily involved in when we work with PSC. It's a free conference in Austin. It's at the first part of August. And so we have both registered to attend it, and we will be out of pocket the 5th and the 6th. Probably the 4th, because it starts at 8 o'clock on the 5th. So just wanted you to know that. And if there's any issues, let me know so that we don't go, but
Put him back.
hmm?
Put him back.
And then on your last page, it is a list of all the taps that were installed. So the top is the 4 taps that the district put in out of those work orders that they received. And then at the bottom are the ones that contractors put in, which are 12, which were a total of 16 new taps.
Wow. Yeah.
Part of those are also in the Wapasi area on the half acres.
Good.
And then last but not least, while I was redevising contracts and forms and stuff, I took the liberty of putting together a new agreement just for delinquent accounts that we have that since you gave the leak adjustment some money, I went through and put together a new agreement for a finance agreement for current customers that have delinquency.
I was just thinking the same.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, no, that's, yeah. So, we're, with the board's approval, we're gonna implement this, so it kind of matches the other forms, and agreements that we already have that you adopted earlier. Even though it wasn't requested, I took it upon myself to do it. So if the board will give me permission, we will go ahead and put this form, a finance agreement for delinquent accounts for leak adjustments and delinquent payments, so that we have something in place for them as well. Because it's basically the same thing.
Is there any requirements they need to meet before they're approved for one of these? Like.
Yeah, it's the same guidelines you gave John last month.
Is.
This one here is just more binding that it actually says if they skip making their payments on their,
That's where I was going.
then I'm gonna shut the water off.
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure
Yeah,
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 there's a penalty.
now yeah.
they gotta be, water clear that if they miss a payment, their water be shut off once they're on this.
Mhm.
And they'll have to pay the full amount.
They
don't
have
get
full amount and they will not be put on another payment.
Correct.
It's in writing now.
Okay, I like it. I make a motion, we approve this form for the delinquent customers and the penalties thereof. Have a second? Second. Daryl's got a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Okay, and then last I have report, we recently, you are all aware of the 941 situation, and so we still have nothing, and the IRS is telling us to give them another 60 to 90 days.
Okay. Good.
Okay, so staff is on top of that as well.
And we don't have to vote on that at all.
Nope. So unless the board has any further questions or
I want to
needs
commend you
any information from me,
I
I'm
want to
open to
commend you.
questions.
on behalf of myself. I see things. We are becoming more transparent. We are showing everyone stuff up front. Thank you for you and the staff and everybody involved. I believe it's a testament to what the board is doing, that we only have one person here. I'm not sure, she's just here we don't have any naysayers anymore. Okay, and I appreciate that. Nobody's throwing rocks. You're doing a good job and y'all are doing a fantastic job and I'm proud of it. Okay,
Thank you, Troy. I hope.
Real quick, I didn't hear that last thing that Debbie said. She was too far away from the mic.
about the 941,
Okay.
we got information from the IRS to give them 69 more days.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay,
Also, on this, quick. You know how we have that program where people that have leaks only pay for the water, right? We're spending considerable amounts of money on that. Is there a way that we have a list of customers, like in every meeting that we have a list of customers that were in that program? Who like to see where our money's going?
successful or not?
Yeah, and see, not this, it's all right. if you
Not
can
right
mention it.
now, but maybe
But-
next month.
Yeah. Cause I mean, spend $25,000 a quarterly is,
We want to
money.
make sure that the money's being.
is, and, it has to be like a tremendous amount of customers.
So just for an example.
I know that one customer only was $5,000 this time, but that's not every month though.
Right, so I mean, and like I was telling y'all, when I do the budget, I'm budgeting for that revenue coming in. So when and I only budgeted 25,000 for the leak adjustments. When you take and raise that up, you take away from your revenue. So your expenses are gonna be more than what we budgeted when we get to the end, if we spend everything
I understand
else.
that part of it.
And so it's imperative that we watch this and hold people accountable for what we're doing.
And I think that's what
And then-
Jesus
and
is
then-
asking.
Right, and then your taps that you did is gonna affect my revenue as
It's
well.
not the revenue. But
So
is there
let-
any way that we can keep tabs on where we're at on that to make sure that we're not?
So can I go get John? Because he's the one who does that.
Sure.
Because I want him to hear your question, so I don't want to answer, because I'm thinking yes.
Okay.
And then, but so he knows he needs
Okay.
to prepare something.
Please.
So if you'll excuse me for a moment. let me
Yes,
get
ma'am. Such a peaceful meeting.
Like, just to see some stuff moving forward.
Yeah, it really, dude,
So
if you had been here for
He's-
45 years, because I've seen
okay, he went
my
out and built
stuff
it.
is going.
I've got
Well, just let them know.
I've got a customer.
Let them know.
Is there,
I'll tell you, yeah.
and I know I've asked this before, is there something that is in place that, let's say, let's talk about my water. I'm gone for the weekend. I get a leak. Eyes on water, if I'm looking at it, I can see it, but
I get an email.
is there any way that ECUD gets an alert? Is there anything that we can put into place? Because I think a lot of that would stop if, John be looking, oh, hey, I just got an alert, this person uses this much water and they've already exceeded that in
Debbie,
the first.
there's something in place because 3 years ago, I had a leak and we got a call from ECUD.
So what they will do is if they randomly go through and look at stuff, but they can't put
Yeah.
eyes on over 5,000 accounts every single day,
Right.
24/7 a day. Even the city can't do that. They can't,
So there's no way to set like,
no.
minimum or anything.
No, we can, where you can look at it always and make sure.
Cause we did get them already.
Because I
guess.
yeah,
We
just-
just got lucky.
For me, if there was something where y'all could just say, you can call the guys and feel, hey, we just got an alert, there's excess amount, go shut that off. I think the people.
Well,
would
that's
call
how we
and say,
caught that one that ended up being Troy's. It went way up.
Way up.
That the lady called Troy. It was in the,
Neighbor's
backyard of the neighbor. And so, I mean, we did that, but I mean, we're also, I mean, right now, we're running a list on taps where someone has come in and requested a tap back to 22, I think. So we're going back 3 years, 22. And yet they never came and got a meter.
So they got a tap for free
No, they paid $27.50 for the tap,
and never got a
but
meter.
never come and get a meter. And so we're, so it's like, well, why didn't you come get a meter?
Unless you're stealing water.
Which we busted. That's where John's at right now. I've got one that I've got told her. Oh. And she's probably gonna.
And,
Bring it.
that,
Oh,
can we like implement some kind of, executive order, like, should say in some form, that if you're gonna live within the district, you gotta have ECUD water?
No,
Nobody do that.
no. There's too many things in the Constitution. Just generally that freedom of speech, freedom of, we can't require anybody.
this one probably.
Unless we,
is on water.
unless we, like,
Incorporate or something like that. But even in the city, they can't require it because like when I lived out by Ratliff, I had a water well and I just told the city I didn't want your water.
but those water works were grandfathered in.
Nope.
No, can't they actually drill a water well in the city?
Yeah, I had one drilled.
There's a drought people.
Yeah. And you can opt out.
But I'll get John to put together a list of all of the lead adjustments that he has made since the May meeting
Okay.
and what the dollar amounts were. And then tell you whether they're current or
So I
not.
was just doing the math, and that's roughly like $300 a day.
Yeah, and so I'll get him to do that
So,
for the July meeting. Okay?
Yeah.
Is that what you're looking
It's us
for?
trying to be nice. is what
Yeah.
it is. Okay.
Well, and you know, we see all of the things they try. So eventually you're just.
everything under the sun.
Yeah, you run out of opportunity.
Okay, so
Yes.
Approve, discuss and consider take all necessary actions to approve the minutes and accounts payable for June. If you read over the minutes and the accounts payable, I think it's on accounts payable. No, it was on a check. It was an email. I'll find it. It was to Margaret Burton. We gave her like several $1,000s. I think.
She overpaid her account.
Wow.
Yeah, she hit, in fact, somebody, I think it was John that signed the check to reimburse her.
So she overpaid her.
Yes.
$2,500.
Yeah.
Poor lady.
Yeah, she did. She was doing it over the phone.
I was just
automatically.
making sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion, we approve the minutes and, where's my accounts payable for June 11th, 2025.
And you have your financial statements and stuff, so, I mean, I can go through and tell you that currently, I mean, if you go through your financial position for April 30, which is in part of that package at the back, the one thing, the things that I want you to be able to see is that, we know that the 4234 count, which was the one that we had some fraudulent checks taken out of, is now down to $523.74 because those are still some outstanding checks that haven't cleared yet. You have, in the new one, 653,902.11 sitting in it. Your deposit account, your appraisal property tax account's got 1.2 in it. Your security deposit account's got 634 in it. Your Techstar account to make your payments has got the 2 million sitting in it. Then you've got your debt reserve account that has over 2 million in it. We can draw down to 1.7 because that's all that is required for us to have in that account. So we have got more in it than what we have to have, which probably as we go through and close out 25's books, I will recommend that we move that money out so that we don't have to pay interest on it. And then you have the $2 million that's sitting in there for the overpayment by property owners for the bond. And it is still sitting there earning interest as well. So that money's sitting there. I don't know whether you're ever going to use it, even though it's been set aside by prior boards, and Troy's aware of it, but that's what, but it is in your sheet. So, total in the bank is 14 million. Total. Then you can go through what is, in your receivable side and come all the way down to your total fixed assets.
So I've got a question. If we come to an agreement with the county on that Third Street project and we cover some costs, where are we getting that money from which account? Any of these accounts?
Yeah, like, we can take it from the one that has 1.7 million, we're able to use part of that.
No, you can never, yes, you could use 300, you could use
300,000
everything
there.
above that.
Which, but I don't have a problem spending 300,000 if we can get it back in a decent timely manner. I think the county's just looking to try to bury us on one, thinking that we're done. It's not a good business decision. Oh, that's somebody? I think I made it up. Okay, I make a motion that we approve the minutes and the accounts payable for June. Have a second? Second by both of them. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Discuss and consider future agendas. Does anybody have any?
Yep, so, and don't forget, you have to sign these checks
Yes.
before you leave.
Everybody?
Well, at least two people.
Two, yeah, and I can sign one, so I need, I mean, I don't mind signing one if you want me to, so if
I
you
can
can
stay
leave.
and sign right now.
All of you can sign, you can all three sign, I don't.
I noticed when I went to sign at the Prosperity Bank, I noticed Timothy's name was not on there anymore, even though he was still part of the board.
It's on there, but it's not, it's an inactive, under an inactive member,
Okay.
but it is still on there, but he won't get a chance.
Timmy was never on the board. He was never to sign anything.
It says inactive member on one
Yeah,
of the papers.
it's based on.
Yeah, it says inactive member,
In
Okay.
but he wasn't giving me an invitation to go sign. Okay, if we have nothing further, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's get out of here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Although it was entertaining. Thank you,
Thank you.
Nicole.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
Can you turn that report off?
Yes. You say. I'm not going to stop. There you go. For us, we gotta. And hopefully you understand that we're trying to